The Coyote Restaurant in Hollywood. Some of us meet there every year. August 8th at 8 p.m. It's a time of reflection for us. It was on that same date, in 1969, that another group met there. It was to be their last meal. Sharon Tate, J. Sebring, Abigail Folger, and Frykowski were there to have dinner and a good time. In store for them later that evening was a fate so horrible that it has been mostly shunned from the collective memory. Hollywood, that strange cultural entity that influences so much of the world, doesn't like to bring it up. Because for our city, the most shattering cultural event of our time is better left unspoken. Thousands of cars drive down Beverly Boulevard and pass El Coyote, oblivious to the monument. It is here that the path begins that leads down to Hollywood's deepest rabbit hole. El Coyote is such a nice place. People laughing, good food, the clinking of glasses in the background, the low murmur of chatter. Celebrities are seen there often, sitting next to tables of tourists, locals, dates, and business people. It's hard to imagine that the road to darkness began there. And as a cultural marker, it's also sad that so few folks go there each year to mark the event. The saga of the Manson family needs to be remembered, talked about, dissected, looked at again and again until we get it, until we have some understanding. The events cracked our pretty looking glass. We stared down in the liquid pool of hell, and the reflection that came back was of us. The rich and famous were brutally murdered by the poorest group in the land of Hollywood. Runaways, rebels, dopers, kids eating out of dumpsters, tribal primitives. It was the ultimate statement of class war and cultural rejection. When we look around us today, are things any better? Since 1969, there have been more wars, now spanning the globe. Millions of civilians have died horrible deaths. Starvation, poverty, quality of life, all worse. In our land, millions of people displaced from their homes by evil banksters. Many hundreds of thousands living homeless on the streets now compared to the small number back during the Manson family era. More pollution of earth, water, air. So we learned nothing. The few who meet at El Coyote every year to remember, to talk about the events, comment on the coincidences, they never expect to solve anything, but they feel they must try. In the past, there were times when as many as 50 people showed up. This year, it was 6. Maybe in a few years, it will only be 1 or 2, then none. At that juncture, the record will have spun around the turntable for the last time, and that date will mark the end of our culture and begin the eternal period of silence, where nobody cares to remember anything. But this year, the 6 of us, seated in the very same booth that was the beginning of the journey for the others in 1969, raised our glasses in a toast to the beautiful Sharon Tate, because we remember. Tell me how you got the table again so easily.
Well, we asked and people were waiting in line and they said it wouldn't be available all night, and then when you guys got here I went and I said, oh, our party's here, can we be seated? And they said okay, and I just expected another table and they let us right here and seated us.
And this is it?
Yep, we're here.
Think of it as in honor and memory of, you know what I'm saying? Because actually I got contacted this year by a guy who's super into Sharon. And he was saying it's gotta be, you gotta respect Sharon. Yeah. He put like an 8-hour documentary on YouTube. So a very concerned individual for Sharon's soul contacted me. He said that he put together this large documentary about occult ritualistic killings that included Eye of the Beholder and all those other movies that Sharon was in, building up But he brought out the point that on the date, not only was Sharon and the murders occurring, but also the Abbey Road photo was taken. Disney's Haunted Mansion was open, which had the advertising model that was, we have 999 souls, we only need one more.
Wow. Also, Walt Disney lived in the house where, used to live in the house where the LaBiancas live.
That's true. And also, if you turn 999 over, you get the 666, of course.
Right.
And so all these things occurring at the same time, the same place. You have Disney, the Disney connection to the house, and all these things. Along with Sharon's kind of build-up of her characters through her movies, you can kind of see how she may have been,
Rosemary Baby.
yeah, driven to her position.
No, I think I have a tape that Sharon was in a black mass with Anton LaVey. That's what I recall that.
I've seen a photograph.
I've seen a photo of her at one of the black mass ceremonies. Kind of interesting. I don't know that she really believed in it, but she was.
Well, that was, she practiced the witchcraft for the Eye of the Beholder movie. Eye of the Devil, yeah.
Eye of the Devil, yeah.
So she actually went through the rituals to know that.
Get him smiling, get him smiling.
Oh, that was.
This was a monumental success today.
Next to her is Joey Hamilton.
Oh, yeah. After dinner, we walked down the street to a little coffee house in a strip mall. It was closed, but for some reason, the nice lady beckoned us in and served us some coffee. We chatted for a while. Walking out, we noticed the marquee at the old movie theater across the street. It was a Grindhouse special, a double bill, Jailbait Babysitter, and Teenage Tramp. Most of our party went into the theater for free to catch the last 10 minutes of one of the films. I stayed outside across the street with John Nahil, the producer-director of the Manson family movies. We stood looking at the front of the theater. We breathed in the warm August air wafting up from the hot sidewalk. Staring at the marquee, I had the feeling I was looking into the dark soul of Hollywood. It's what Ken Anger called Hollywood Babylon. I looked over at John. "Tomorrow," he said, "is another day." "Yeah," I replied, "tomorrow."